Welcome to Trail Shoes Reviewed. In this video we're going to talk you through one of the best road to trail shoes on the market, the Hoka Challenger 7. Now there's some really good aspects to the fit and the feel of this shoe, but there's also some major downsides which I'll talk you through. But first of all, let's look at the midsole, where we've Hoka's classic CMEVA cushioning, which is similar to what we see in the Hoka Speedgoat 6, but it feels completely different. So it's a much softer and smoother midsole than what we see in the Speedgoat 6, which is quite firm and responsive. So it's not that it's a slow shoe overall, but it's just a little bit softer, a little bit more comfort focused. It's got 31 mils in the rear foot, 26 in the forefoot, giving you that 5 mil drop. So it's got a nice even distribution of pressure across the shoe, and you've got 4 mil lugs underneath the shoe, which are a little bit flatter and broader than we saw in the Challenger 6. So it's a bit more accommodating to road running, so it's more comfortable, you don't notice them lugs underneath your foot, and transitions nicely onto the trails. When we're thinking about the trails, we're thinking more about grassy trails, light to moderately technical trails. I think because of the lug depth and the angles, it's going to struggle with steeper, more muddy terrain. Then as we move up the shoe, we've got some stability elements to the shoe, even though it's a classic neutral. So these stability features are the large sidewalls on the inside and the outside of the shoe. They come up, cradle your heel, try to keep it centered in the shoe as you move. We've also got quite a stiff heel counter at the back of the shoe that cradles your ankle, trying to help control it when you initiate contact with the ground, controlling those pronation moments. If you've got sensitivity on the back of your heel, you may not enjoy the stiffness of the heel counter, but the majority of you won't find any issues with it, and it just adds that extra element of stability for when you're changing direction, whether that's going up or downhill. Then as we move along the shoe, we've got a slightly narrower fit in the toe box, which is really common in the Hoka shoes. So if you've got a broader foot, then you might look at the wide option, which is available. It doesn't have a toe guard on the front, which is something of note, so it's more likely to break down if you're running through bramble or any ditches, because you're going to cut up the front of the shoe. It does have some lugs at the tip of the shoe, which helps with grip when you're going uphill, but just a caveat that it doesn't have any protection along the side or on the front of the shoe. If you kick a big rock, you've got no protection on the front there either. As we move up onto the tongue, we've got a gusseted tongue that's padded, and we've got some nice padding around the heel counter. So it can be a shoes that you use for walking and hiking. That's definitely a great option. If you live around mountain or coastal paths, this is also an excellent option for grassy terrain or light mud. But as I say, not as good for technical terrain, especially deep mud going downhill. So overall what we have is a much more lighter midsole than what we see in the Speedgoat 6. It doesn't have as much cushioning underneath your foot, but the cushioning that is there is a lot softer. It comes in relatively light at 250 grams for a size 9 men's US, and an excellent option overall if you want a do-it-all shoe that covers your road and your trail options. We've got links to it in the description if you want to check out the latest price on Amazon. Otherwise, we've got a whole host of reviews on different trail shoes if you want to check them out on our channel, and thank you very much for watching.